Hello everyone and welcome to today's video. So today I'm going to be reviewing the Jeffree Star Jawbreaker palette. So this is my newest Jeffree Star palette in my Jeffree Star palette collection, and I thought it would be really fun to just review the palette, do some swatches and then show you how to create this really easy, striking look with the Jawbreaker palette. So before I get the shades swatched, there is a little look at all of the shades in this palette. So there's 24 shades in this palette and they are all so unique and absolutely stunning. So I'm going to go ahead and get them all swatched now, starting with this row here and then working my way along the palette. So that is the first row of shades swatched, and starting at the top we have got shade Virgin and shade Good Morning, which I think are both two really nice like base shades. They're definitely very pale. I mean, Good Morning is basically my skin tone, so definitely a very light pink. Underneath that is this really bright pink matte shade that is Bubblegum, and then we've got these three matte shades which I actually used for this look. We've got the yellow, which is shade Wow, the bright orange, which is shade Suck, and the bright red matte, which is shade Licorice. So really fun start to this colour story. And then moving on to row number 2, so some really lovely pastel shades in this row and also a couple of really stunning shimmers. So starting at the top here is shade Cute, this really nice pale green like teal pastel shade. Underneath that is quite a nice pastel orange. Now I'm not going to read the name of this shade out because I don't want to get banned, but it is shade Luck with an F, so use your imagination. Underneath that is a really lovely lilac pastel shade. This is shade Gumdrop. Then we've got the first shimmer of this palette is shade Snack. It's got quite a nice kind of orange shift to it. Underneath that is this really nice pastel ice blue, that is shade Brain Freeze. And lastly here, this shimmer here with a really gorgeous shift again, this is shade Jawbreaker. And this is the third row of shades, so we've got a few more shimmers in this one, and starting at the top is this really gorgeous red shimmer, that is shade And What. Underneath that is this orange shimmer, that is, wow, absolutely beautiful, that is shade Orange Juice. Underneath that is a really lovely soft kind of apple pastel green, that is shade Sour. Underneath that is a really true matte blue, that is shade Soaked. Underneath that is this really lovely raspberry pink, very aptly named Raspberry. And lastly here is this hot pink shimmer, that is shade Cotton Candy. So another row of really gorgeous shades. And then that is the final 6 shades in the Jawbreaker palette. So starting at the top is a really gorgeous yellow shimmer, that is shade Lemon Drop. Underneath that is another really gorgeous shimmer, this time a really lovely purple, this is shade Bites Me. Underneath that is a really nice pink matte shade, that is Cherry Wet. Underneath that is this nice neutral brown matte shade, that is shade Tasty. And underneath that is like a more peachy toned matte shade, that is shade Cone. And then lastly is this darker blue matte shade, that is shade Delicious. So I think you'll agree that there are 24 really unique and gorgeous shades in this palette, a really nice mix of mattes and shimmers that have just all swatched absolutely beautifully. So now I've swatched all 24 shades in the Jawbreaker palette, I'm going to show you how to create this look. So here I am, of course, with the Jawbreaker palette ready to do a look. So I'm going to be starting off with shade Licorice, which is a really lovely red matte shade, and I have used this palette a few times so far, even though it is the newest Jeffree Star palette in my collection. But I've really only used like some of the pinks and the purples and the blues. I haven't reached in for the kind of red, orange, yellow shades in the palette yet, so I thought it would be a perfect opportunity to give those a go in today's video. So first of all, shade Licorice, it is a very red looking red on my brush, and I'm going to be concentrating that on the outer segment of my eye. I'm just going to make that V shape just so I can get like a good placement. So very pigmented, very easy to apply, and it's not chalky or anything. I know it's what I would expect from the Jeffree Star formula, but it is obviously always good to experience that when actually using the palette. This is definitely going to look a bit messy before it looks better, but I have got a vision in mind for this look. I think I'm happy with that, so I'm just going to go ahead and get obviously the same done on this eye. So I'm super happy with how shade Licorice has applied and blended out and everything. So next I'm going to be using shade Suck, which is that really lovely orange matte shade, and for that I have gone for a slightly bigger, fluffier brush, and the aim is to get this all kind of blended out on the outer part of my eye and up into shade Licorice. So another really bright pigmented shade. Okay, there's actually a much brighter orange than I expected. It's almost got a little hint of neon in it. I really like it. So I'm going to bring that up into shade Licorice as well, just to get a bit of an orange tone in that matte red. And then I just want to bring it across about as far as where I've already got shade Licorice. But again, it is laying down really nicely. It's another super pigmented shade and a really pretty orange. So that's looking great, and I'm going to go ahead and get this eye done as well. So there is the second shade down, which was shade Suck. And the third shade I'm going in with, you've probably guessed, is this yellow shade here. This very aptly named shade is shade Wow, and it's another really gorgeous matte shade. So it can be really difficult to find like a good yellow matte shade in palettes. It always tends to be a shade that looks outstanding in the palette, but then it doesn't always translate onto your eye as like pigmented and bright. But I do have high hopes for this shade. I haven't used this one yet, so little first impression of this. I've got a good amount on my brush here, and I'm going to pop that all, as you probably would have guessed, on the inner part of my eye. So that is laying down really nicely actually. Definitely is a super yellow shade, so that worry I had that it wasn't going to be quite so bright has definitely been alleviated. I just want to get this blended across into the other two shades, so I haven't got such a harsh line between them all. I want a really nice seamless blend, which you do always tend to get with the Jeffree Star palettes. They are very blendable shades and really easy to work with. So there was a little bit of fallout from that shade, but it has laid down really nicely, and I think it's blended into the other two shades really easily and really well also. So just gonna go ahead and get this eye done, and then I'm going to decide what shimmer I'm going to use. So I can't decide between shade Orange Juice or shade Lemon Drop. And there we have got shade Wow down on both eyes. So I have had a little think about which shimmer I'm going to use, and I have decided to use shade Lemon Drop, which is the most gorgeous looking yellow shade I think I've ever seen. So I'm just going to skip the brush for this one and just apply this shade with my finger. This is such a buttery shade. I can feel it already when I'm just pressing the pan, and that is what that shade looks like just on my finger. And I really just want to get this on top of where I've popped shade Wow and just bringing it across the first third of my eye. Okay, that is really gorgeous. Definitely think that the look needed that pop of shimmer just to make it really stand out. So I'll go ahead and get my other eye done, and then it'll be time to get the under eye sorted. Wow, now I've got shade Lemon drop down on both eyes. I am loving this look even more. So for the under eye, I'm going to be going back in with shade Licorice first, which was that gorgeous red matte just on the outer part of my eye. And I'm going to be blending just a little bit of Suck and a little bit of Wow into that as well, just to soften up and lighten up the inner corner. So this is shade Licorice, just keeping the outer edge that nice matte red. And then going in now with shade Suck, which was the orange. And then lastly, just going in with shade Wow. And then just get all three just blended into one another. And there is the under eye all done. So of course, to finish this look off, I just need to do my eyeliner, my mascara and my lipstick. So for my eyeliner, I have opted to use this Black Coal eyeliner pencil just in my waterline. This pencil here is just from Primark. And then for my mascara, I have just got this black mascara from Colourpop. This is their Act Natural Defining Mascara. And then lastly, just for my lipstick, I'm going to be using this Jeffree Star Velour Liquid Lipstick, and this is in the shade Wifey. Just thought that this gorgeous red would go really nicely with this orange, red and yellow eyeshadow look. And there is the final completed look. So I will just give you a close-up of the eyeshadow so you can see that in a bit more detail. So I think all in all, it's quite a striking look that was actually pretty easy to complete. And I definitely think that the red lip paired with it just makes it stand out even more. So now I have finished the look, I'll just give you my kind of thoughts about the palette. It is actually my newest Jeffree Star palette in my Jeffree Star eyeshadow palette collection, although it obviously isn't the newest palette, it's the newest one to me. And I have used it about 3 or 4 times already just to get a bit of a feel for the palette. So whilst I haven't used all of the shades, I have used a few of them now. Mainly, I think I mentioned before, the pinks and the purples and the blues. So definitely still loads of shades I still need to get stuck into and create some really fun looks with. But first of all, this palette, I absolutely love the packaging. The fact that it looks like the inside of a Jawbreaker, I think is just really, really clever. And then obviously the Uni Carton looks like the outside of a Jawbreaker. I just think that the attention to detail is just really outstanding. And also another thing I like about this palette, it's just the sheer amount of shades you get in here. When you get 24 shades, that is a lot of shade for your money. And they're all so varied, from some really nice pastel-y shades. So this purple here is definitely way more pastel-y than it looks in the pan, right up to some real deep matte shades, and you've got loads of nice shimmers. I just think it's a really gorgeous palette. Of course, I love the formula. I have a lot of Jeffree Star palettes, so I know what to expect, and this one definitely didn't disappoint me. So definitely let me know if you have this palette or which is your favourite Jeffree Star palette. I'd really love to know. And if you'd like me to review any of my other palettes that I own, or have any other suggestions of palettes that I could review, then definitely let me know in the comments below. But as always, thank you so much for watching today's video. I hope that you enjoyed it. If you did, please do give the video a big thumbs up, leave me a comment, and if you are new to my channel, please consider subscribing, and I'll see you again in my next video.